Like I started to drink what I would say alone behind closed doors. And so I would drink more when people weren't witnessing me than when I was out at the bars with my friends, for instance. So that was the first time that I really made the connection between mental health and alcohol. And then as it progressed, as it does.
Awekenge, this is Mental Mythos, hosted by Asego Toto.
Japanese or so make mistake and coping mechanisms. And as mentioned that in terms of one thing that can make a person being exposed to alcohol is coping mechanism, because people around us tell us that drinking alcohol is a good thing, or seeing people that drink alcohol thinking that it's a good thing and it has many benefits, that's not the case. So with those words, I would like to welcome you to Mental Mythos. I appreciate you for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here and have this conversation with you today. A very much needed conversation.
Definitely. To start off things, what was your pivotal moment that drove you to pursue a career in alcohol-free empowerment coaching, and how does it align with broader life goals?
Oh goodness. It's like, what was the pivotal moment? It's been such a journey to get to where I am today, but it obviously started with my own personal sobriety. Otherwise I wouldn't be an alcohol-free empowerment coach. So I had to go through my own very dark experience with alcohol and mental health and come out on the other side of it and then just know that pain had purpose. So I really took that journey, my very unhealthy relationship with journey, and the way that I term it as spiritually bankrupted me. I really took that experience and turned it into, this is what I'm here to do, and this is how I'm here to serve. Because unless one had gone through the journey, and we're talking alcohol today because that's my expertise, alcohol empowerment coach, but unless one has gone through the journey with alcohol, it's really hard to understand, right? If you haven't personally experienced it. And because I came out on the other side of it, it was like, I have firsthand knowledge, I have firsthand experience. I thought the thoughts, I walk the walk, I can talk the talk, and I can look at someone and say like, I know where you're at. And I also know how to get to the other side of it. So that's what led me to do what I do is, obviously when the world took a big pause in 2020 and everyone had to kind of go within, it gave me a moment to really reflect on how do I want to show up in this world. And I decided I want to focus on alcohol. Like, cause before that I was like, I still am, but like an energy practitioner and mindset coach and yoga teacher. But I wanted to niche down to alcohol because it's so specific and it's something that I know so intimately well. Right. Mm-hmm. And so with the great pause of 2020 and deciding like, where do I want to go in life? It was, I'm going to help women change their relationship to alcohol and get to the freedom that they seek, desire, and that's available for them. And that's really what inspired me to go all in and to do what I do today.
And just touch on the fact that in terms of COVID really took us by storm. And actually, funny enough, it's the same time where I started my podcast, because back in 2019, it was 2019, whereas I kept telling myself that I'm going to start it. And not only that was a choice that I didn't think that would benefit me in the long run, but also it exposed a lot of things upon my life, because I found out that I had mental health issues that I needed to take care of. Things like anxiety, depression, things that I didn't even look at it back then. Something that wasn't popular. Forgot about depression. What is that? People were just not looking on that conversation. So I found the fact that as I spoke to people, when you have a certain experience when it comes to mental health, you think you are the only one that has that problem, and no one understands your pain, no one understands your emotions and your frustrations. But when you come across people that feel the same way, and you realize that the emotions that you were feeling were nothing compared to other people, because people out there are struggling, and I feel like COVID-19 really exposed a lot of when it comes to mental health in general. And I had a guest, I think it was last week, we spoke about addiction, actually. It's funny enough about alcohol addiction. And one thing that he said is the fact that people, in a way, accept a person that has alcohol addiction and degrade someone that has drug addiction. And I found that fascinating because onto my eyes, I think it's the same thing. The effect that drugs have on a person is the same effects that alcohol does to a person. And it's a conversation that people are very scared to have because they have this thing that have normalized in terms of that great intake of alcohol, not realizing that as much as, it's a solution for now, but in the long run, the pain doesn't go until you face it. So in your own experience, in your own life, in terms of when it comes to alcohol, would you say that how did you come across it in terms of alcohol, and how did you find it as a coping mechanism?
Right. Everything is always more clear in hindsight, right? So while I was drinking alcohol, it was hard to pinpoint when I was just enjoying alcohol and when I was using it as a coping mechanism. And so it's like, I'm not out to villainize alcohol or to make it bad or wrong, right? I'm certainly out to talk about mental health and are we using a tool that just isn't effective and doesn't work. So with my own journey, it started off fun, like typical college girl that, partied at college, things like that. But I did notice that I drank more than my group of girlfriends, or I was the one always suggesting that we make cocktails or that sort of thing, right? And it wasn't until I got into a career that I didn't really want to be in. It paid really well, but I wasn't happy. And so I kind of felt trapped. But also part of it came with being a socialite. It came with happy hours, going to cocktail lounges after your corporate day. And so I was kind of stuck in this lifestyle, but also noticing for the first time, actually noticing my mental health dipping because I just didn't want to get up and go to work in the morning. I just felt like I was wasting my days. And so I did start to tune into the fact that there are days where I'm using it to be social. And there are also times that I'm using it to, numb the way I'm feeling, to change the way I'm feeling. And what became obvious for me is I started to drink alone. I started to drink what I would say alone behind closed doors. And so I would drink more when people weren't witnessing me than when I was out at the bars with my friends, for instance. So that was the first time that I really made the connection between mental health and alcohol. And then as it progressed, as it does, I was able to tell when I'm not happy in my life, I turned to alcohol. And so it was obvious to me that I was using it as a coping mechanism. Now, when I got sober and I took the alcohol out, you can take the alcohol out of your life. And this is a general anyone can take alcohol out of their life and be a miserable human being. It's not the key to happiness, but it's definitely a necessary step if you want to try to get there. So just stopping drinking doesn't solve the problems, but it certainly is required in order to start solving the problems, right? Does that make sense? And so once I took out the alcohol, the question was, okay, so now what? Why was I drinking? What are the feelings that I'm feeling? Of course, I do belief work and stories, disempowering story, revelations, self-actualization, all of that. And so without the alcohol altering and changing me in any way, it was time to learn about myself. And that's when I picked out some really big themes. And it was all, of course, mental health related. But I couldn't have done that if I was still drinking the alcohol. You can't do mindset work if you're chemically changing your brain with a substance. It's just not possible. You can't do both at the same time.
And something that I had a conversation with a guest earlier today, whereas we spoken actually about eating disorder. And whereas she said that when with her clients, you can't say to someone that you should stop eating without. I really like it when you instead of you substituted alcohol with improving yourself. And I feel like that's the same with me. At first, I drank alcohol for fun. And it's fun. Just having fun. as years went, I realized that I came in and we ran every weekend. And I realized when I'm out with my friends also, I didn't enjoy myself. Like, as much I was here, but my mind was somewhere else, thinking about my problems. I feel like as much as alcohol is supposed to cover that thing of feeling that stress, feeling that, okay, now I'm going through a lot, so I'll drink alcohol just to those of that feeling. So it didn't work to me that way. Whereas last year, I decided this around December, started missing action to not drink alcohol. So it has been a couple of months I haven't drank alcohol, and I've been feeling great because in a way on weekends I'm able to stay with myself and just improve myself and trying in terms of trying to prepare for podcast interviews like these ones, in terms of trying to do a lot of research in terms of that. And it's something that I don't regret of doing, because it's something that has benefited me through a lot of my life, a lot. And one thing that we don't talk about when it comes to alcohol is the fact of relapsing. As much as we stay here and talk about how did you start, we're introduced to alcohol and how did you stop, but in the middle of all of that, there's this part of the lab. So how, as someone that is in this field that specializes in alcohol, in terms of how do you make sure that your clients don't relapse?
Well, I can't make sure they do anything, like I don't have that power. Every human has free will.
Yeah.
Right. Certainly coach and guide and motivate and, teach strategies and techniques and help them create plans of actions and all of that, so that hopefully they won't take the action of drinking alcohol. But at the end of the day, everyone has choice. And I honor everyone's choice. Many people do not stop drinking alcohol on the first try, and sometimes it takes more and more setbacks in a way to finally say like, okay, enough, enough is enough. And I'm ready to abstain from alcohol. It's such a complicated relationship because alcohol is a depressant. And I think we just forget that because we associate it with happy and partying and celebration. And it's like alcohol is designed to take you down. And if someone is already having underlying mental health challenges, I don't want to say issues, because everyone has a mind, everyone has health. And so everyone has an opportunity to have some sort of challenge with their mental health. It's like no one is immune to this fact, right? And so if you already have some bigger mistaken beliefs, identity crises moving through you, then I think the alcohol really exacerbates that. And so the level of internal dialogue that we're working with is definitely going to impact how, I don't really want to use the word easy, but how easy it is for one to release the tool that they're using to like quiet all that noise. That makes sense. So anyways, your question was, how do I ensure that my clients don't relapse? And it's really very, very important in the beginning stage of changing your relationship to alcohol to understand like an honest look at how it's truly impacting you. So the problem is so big for you, your own personal interpretation and understanding of what a problem is for you, that you wouldn't not change it. Like you wouldn't not do the things and take the actions that you need to do to change what's causing the problem, right? So the personal interpretation of my relationship as it stands today and my level of joy and happiness in the world as it stands today is no longer good enough for me. Therefore, absolutely, I'm willing to now take action to change my relationship to alcohol. When that problem is, I call it like a sacred problem. When that sacred problem is so honest and true to that person, then it's very easy to take steps moving forward, right? And also moving forward to what you would rather have instead. Having a why, knowing why you're even doing it. If there wasn't a problem, why would you take the time to do it in the first place? So that's how I help my clients hopefully avoid relapse, is by making the problem so big that they certainly would never want to stay there, or they certainly would never want to go back there. And then also having the why so desirable that they'd want to keep taking aligned action to get to the new version of themselves. So my way of coaching clients is highly saturated in empowerment, feel good, bravery, doing the hard things and celebrating yourself along the way. And when you just start to feel really good in your life again, it's almost like